Okay, I've been editing photos for the last day and a half. I'm just finished the USO parade and getting ready to do the USO photo shoot. I like to talk about just sort of taking photos and what it's like to edit everything. I generally use two lenses. This is the 85, which is excellent, very very sharp 1.2 f1.2 lens. I take most of my portraits sort of waist up kind of thing, and then I have the 28 to 70 2.8, the wedding lens, which I use to take the group photos. So you can zoom out a lot, you can zoom in a little bit. It doesn't have the nice background blur that the 85 has, but it doesn't have the issue that the 85 has, is that I have to get back far, so it presents a problem. The other issue with the 85 is the focus points. I always focus on the front eye, and there aren't any focus points on the camera up here, so I always have to frame it looking up just a little bit too much. So anyway, but my process is this is the Marriott atrium by the tiles, and so there's a high ceiling there. This is direct flash. I always use a gel inside. It's a color change orange, and I think I compensate it at 3400. Actually, it says 3400 right there, and that balances out the incandescent light. So here's my film roll, all the photos I took, and you can kind of scroll through and see the photos. Some of these I've processed as dailies when I'm at the con, but first thing I do is, here's Merlin. I have to check the focus, and these files, they're 30 megabytes each raw, and sort of eats the machine. And so this focus, the eyes look good on this one, and I usually just check. I took 4. This one not sharp. This one not sharp, and so I'm just going to go back to this first photo, and you can see very very sharp. You can see the eyelashes and so forth. But pixel peeping is a bad habit. I've copied my common settings that correct for lens distortion. I bump up the clarity, presence, saturation. I add sharpening. I do luminance, noise reduction. That's in a common set of settings. You can see it brightens stuff up, and the perspective changed a little bit. On this one, he's kind of a tall guy, and so there's not much cropping that I really need to do, except I usually crop down to get rid of too much of that overhead space, and that's probably good. Just like that, the colors, it's kind of orangish, and depending on, you can see that my flash is perfectly balanced because that's the light from the flash. Generally inside I like warm. Generally cold colors don't look good on basically anything, and warm is okay, and overly warm is okay. And on the exposure, I don't know, that's too bright. That's kind of okay. I'm going to make the blacks just a little bit blacker. That adds better contrast without, and it livens up the colors without overdoing it on the saturation. And so I generally like this photo, and so then I export it, and of course I have to export it to my everything else folder, because I was just finishing the parade, and it takes a while to write. These photos are 4,000 by 3,000, so it takes a while to fully process. I can then move on to the next one, and so there was a group shot going on of Disney princesses, and so here you can see Maleficent and then the evil stepsisters, and so I was just trying to take a photo of just her, and I was able to get it. Eyelashes, stitching, it looks pretty good. I kind of don't like her sister in the background, and so I went later and I took individual photos of them, but I'll just do one because it's interesting having her sister in the background. So I just pasted the settings. I can crop it in a little little bit. I don't want to like cut off a lot of her sister's face, but kind of like that maybe. This is really bright, and what's the correct exposure? It depends on how I'm feeling that day. Sometimes I like stuff that's bright and poppy. Sometimes I like stuff a little dark. I have gone this dark in the past, but generally, I'm in a bright mood. I'm in a bright and warm mood. This Dragon Con had a lot of fun, and then I changed to blacks. I can, her face is kind of shiny. I did not use my diffuser. I should have had the diffuser, but I never took it out with me. But that's probably okay. I knocked down the whites a lot, and it gets rid of some of the shininess. Although again, I should have used the diffuser. And I have a hotkey on my tablet for saving the file. And as soon as it's done exporting, I can go to the next, which is her sister by herself. And this is one that I have as a daily that I did, and I can zoom in and see if it was a good choice. I was using a laptop in the hotel room. Yeah, see, this focus is not very good. I was using a laptop in the hotel room, and it was really hard to judge critical focus. See, this one's way better. Hard to judge critical focus. Of course, I don't like Jason, whoever that is, right there. That's a whole lot better, and this one is in focus also. That's why again I take 3. The one that was a daily was out of focus. That one had that Jason guy in the background, and this one is reasonably sharp, and so I like that. So I again paste the settings, and it takes a while to paste because again it's correcting the distortion of the lens, which is a non-linear effect. So I have to crop it. Again, I wish I could have gotten back further, so I'm not gonna crop it too much. Just again correct from the having to look up. Usually I put the 1/3 from the top line on people's eyes. Don't want to lose her handbag. So maybe I can go a little bit more, and maybe, okay. Then my camera's heavy, and so I always roll the camera to the side. So I'm finding that I have to actually always straighten out the photos. And I have to remember from next time to just give a little bit more room, so I have room to rotate it without cropping. But it's really packed up there on the atrium level. So here's the photo. It's bright, so I don't like bright right now. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit, and then make the blacks just a little bit better. I mean, if I make them a lot, and this bluish stuff just telling me that everything's lost it's too dark, it's lost there. But you can see how it makes the fabric pop about a bunch more, and it's okay having these areas of blue, because in the photo it'll just be black, but it's really dark there anyway. And then turn down the whites a little. You can see how that shininess, it's really in the white section of the graph there. And then save that one. That looks a little flat, but I mean it's workable. Okay, so then it's exporting. Her sister, overexposed. I'm also tweaking the flash settings as I take photos. This one is a little bit better, and again I always check the eyes. Eyes look good. You can see the stitching. The one that I used as a daily, there's a third one. Let's see how that one is. Doesn't look, oh yeah, actually the one that's a daily actually looks pretty good. So let me zoom out, and I already did a bunch of settings. I turned down the exposure a lot. Maybe I'm going to dial it up just a tad. Somehow I bounced up the highlights, and then I can reduce the blacks a little bit. That one looks reasonably good. So, ship it, hit the ship it button. A lot of times when I'm taking photos, I don't get a good pose. I have to try again. So here it's Bookworm Belle. That was part of a group. That's Gaston. That was part of that same group. I tried to take a picture of her, but she blinked, and so it did not turn out at all. Actually, it's not very good. His arm's in the way. And then I was able to get her a second time. So here's Bookworm Belle. This one looks like it's pretty good. You can see pores and eyebrows. And then the one I used as the daily is doesn't look like it's as good. Actually, no, that one's good too. So I can look at it, and it looks a little dark, which is, I think, because the laptop screen was kind of bright. So I can lighten it up. I like whites that pop. I like the framing. Got both of her hands, the book, and her head there's some light there by her head. That's okay. There's some shininess, which I can reduce a little, and maybe I'll give it the blacks a little bit. Just of course, actually, this was before I started adding saturation. But if I saturate a little bit, that's probably okay. Again, okay, so then I got Rapunzel and Pascal. Pascal's really happy in this photo. And actually, it looks like Pascal's eye is what's actually the sharpest in this photo. So if I look, Pascal's eye is really, really sharp. Her eye, the eyelashes are not as clear and distinct. And if I go to the one I used as the daily, you can see Pascal, his eyes are not as sharp, and I think that hers are gonna, as soon as it's done doing its loading, it's gonna maybe pop in clear. Yes, it is. So this is actually very, very good. You can see the cilia in her iris, and so I zoom out. This is how I processed it. I probably didn't take out the tilt. I did not take out the tilt, so I can take out the tilt a little bit. This guy behind looks like a unicorn horn coming out of there. Again, this is overly dark because I did it on the laptop. Brighten it up a bit. Add some saturation. You don't want to saturate it too much, but the flowers have a lot of nice colors, and Pascal's a big smile on his face. He likes it. So, and then pull the black down a little bit, and I'm going to keep the whites as they are because I like the effect on the beading and on her bodice. So that one looks like a winner also. So I'm going to save that. So that was what was that? 5 photos, and it took me. I can't see the timer on the camera. It took me 13 minutes. So I'm talking a lot, but generally I can do maybe a photo every minute, and there's 1,600. So how many hours is that? Of course, I don't look at every single photo. I don't process every single photo, but it takes a while to review these. And I think I've posted 500 so far. So out of 1,800 photos taken, I'm predicting maybe 700 will eventually get posted, and it's a lot. It helps, as I go from photo to photo. Here's Cruella. They're all taken generally at the same time, same location, and so a lot of times I look at the settings I used in a previous photo and use that, to adjust. And again, here it's overly dark, and so I need to, bump it up a little bit from the laptop. I want the boa to really pop. I can dial down the whites. I don't think that the saturation is going to have much of an effect. Might make the red go out of gamut, but that one looks pretty good. I did not fix, I don't think I fixed the, did not fix the camera rotation. Just do that real quick and then ship it. Anyway, that's the process. I really enjoy taking photos. I really get really focused on the act of taking the photo. So if I don't comment about like, wow, I love your costume, I love your detail, whatever, it's usually because I'm so focused on the image that I usually don't get a chance to really evaluate people's costumes. If it's a good costume that just grabs my attention, certainly, but paying attention to the details, I'm way more focused on taking the photo. Just 100% focused on that. Anyway, Dragon Con is fun. I love taking the photos. I love posting them, and I like that people like my photos. Just want to give you a look at what it's like on the back end of the process here. All right, thanks for watching.